Welcome back. You are watching KTN News Desk. Let's now focus on the political activity in the country and the clash that was witnessed on Monday, where a canvas portrait with images of the National Super Alliance principles was set on fire in protest during a Jubilee Party rally held in the city. Supporters of the two leading political sides clashed outside Kenyatta International Convention Center, or KICC, as President Uhuru Kenyatta presented his papers for clearance to the Electoral Commission. Now, what was expected to be a calm event on a gloomy day, so supporters of Jubilee and the opposition exchanged words and later throwing stones at each other. The exchange happened outside Nakumatt City Hall, and Jubilee supporters had traversed the city through Jogoo Road, where President Uhuru had an address at Donholm to counter NASA's Sunday rally at the same area, although they were confronted by NASA supporters. Now, supporters of the two sides threw stones at each other, holding the city at ransom for some time, with motorists getting stranded. All right, and to talk about this and how the NCIC will be handling such cases as we get into the campaign period, joining me in studio now is Professor Gitile Naituli, who is a commissioner at the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Once again, thank you for joining us. Such scenes that were witnessed on Monday. Yeah. How is the NCIC going about things like that? I know it borders bits of it on you and then the security officers as well.
Yes. That is correct. NCIC, what we have been doing, first of all, we have been covering nearly the whole 47 counties with other partners, like Nakanda, Youth Fund on a program which is being called Sauti 47, convincing the youth to avoid being used by the politicians. But we also, before that, we have programs which are intended to educate the youth that as the politicians search for jobs, they should not allow themselves to be victims of that process. But watching this clip that you just played here, and also having seen it before, I think we need to go beyond that. We, as a commission, we want to propose, and I'll talk to the chairman, the commission chairman, so because part of our mandate is to advise the national government. Since we have made election look like an emergency, because they sometimes
it's a matter of life and death in this country.
Yeah. So I think we need to advise that the Ministry for the Interior set up a special police unit to deal with the electoral-related violence, because the Kenyans need to understand that we don't suspend our laws because there is an election. So when you engage in the violence, and is recorded, like we have seen now, is caught on the camera. The police should be busy looking for every one of those Kenyans, arrest them and take them to court. The country needs to raise the cost of involvement in electoral violence. They need to raise that cost. And the cost needs to be raised on those sponsoring it and those who allow themselves to be involved in that malpractice.
Well, and it's this conversation you've had with the Interior Ministry, because we understand that just the other day, the NCIC, in collaboration with a number of concerned agencies, was training a number of officers on how to use the equipment that will be used to get, say, evidence of hate speech in a number of rallies. But what you're just saying, like have a special unit for electoral violence, is this a conversation you've started with the Interior Ministry?
We have already started that process, but we want to enhance it because we have specially trained police officers now to identify the matters of hate speech because of its technicalities, given the law that we're operating over. And those officers, we have now given them body cameras instead of the voice. We're having problems with the court system to convict hate mongers based on the voice recording. So we are switching to body cameras, which can transmit from wherever in Kenya directly to our monitoring room at the commission. And that is not possible to end it. So we have moved into that. We have issued that to the police officers. And the police officers are now working. They are now in the front. But I'm suggesting something just beyond that. When we see something like this, and is captured, the police should now be busy looking for those people because we have their images so that they can arrest them, because we do not suspend the laws because there is an election. The laws are still operational. And so they should not be, we are not going to tolerate it. The commission will tolerate it, the police will not. And we have established a very strong partnership with the National Police Service.
So far, do you think the police or the security officials in this country, or those who are in charge of it, are really doing a good job as far as such scenes are concerned? During the nomination exercise about a month ago, such scenes were witnessed, or even worse. Do you think they're doing enough?
We actually saw that in Migori. We saw Kenyans stepping on others even when they're on the ground, and I have not seen those people in court. So I cannot say they are doing enough because I have not seen them in court. What I'm saying is we need to pull up our socks, because the institutions are as good as the people who lead them. So we need to pull up our socks. We need to aggressively go after lawbreakers in this electioneering period, because what we want is a peaceful election. We want the Kenyans to settle their agenda to other Kenyans unmolested. So I didn't see the Migori fellows in court, and those people should have been arrested and taken to court, because if we don't do that, then we are perpetuating impunity, and that is danger for the republic. So we must act, and we must do it now, and we must do it very methodically. And these fellows now who are doing this the other day, all of them should have been rounded up and appear in court today or tomorrow, because allowing them to go scot-free gives them motivation to repeat the same thing the following day. And I don't think we are about to do that, because I've heard the minister, Kaiseri, issue very strong statement that please obey the law. And I know he's a military man. I expect him to execute those orders. That's why he issues them.
What about the politicians that are sponsoring it?
Or I said, what we need to do as a country is raise the cost on both the perpetrators and their sponsors. And believe me, we won't get them. We won't get them. Because the way I know about our commission right now, the determination I've seen with the commissioners, together with the National Police Service, the Ministry of Interior, is fairly, they are fairly determined to make sure that this election is free and does not involve violence, and that those who do, they don't get away with it. Yeah.
Professor, thank you for coming in for News Desk. Always a pleasure to have you. Professor Gitile Naitwili is a commissioner at the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, sounding a very stern warning to those sponsoring violence, and insightful remarks, as well as those perpetrating